Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolina,
And I'm Alex.
and we want to welcome you to our live conversation about how to unlock kiteboarding tricks and progress riding this summer. We are so happy to see people joining us as we are hosting progression clinic this summer in Sardinia, and not everyone can join us. People that follow us are from all over the world, but we want to see everyone progress. We want people to ride better, learn new tricks, and we want to see that. This is why we bring you this conversation today. And if you have any question during this conversation, just write in the comments. We'll try to answer it. Also, if you have friends that are also trying to get better at kiteboarding, learn new freestyle tricks, send them this video. We hope to help as many people as possible. We both love kiteboarding, love learning new tricks, so we hope we can help more of you this upcoming summer. So without making this intro too boring for everyone, let's just get to the main part. And yeah, Alex, I want to ask you, how do you unlock new tricks?
Good question. I guess everyone has a bit of a different approach when they're trying to unlock new tricks. For me, I like to think about things I'm doing in other board sports, so whether that be like skateboarding, wakeboarding, surfing, snowboarding. I like to think about the different actions and tricks I do in those sports, and then just see how I could translate those movements to kiteboarding in order to, create something new or create something that I feel like I'm kind of adding my own touch or adding something from another sport into kiteboarding. So for me, that's really how I like to unlock new tricks. Obviously, I still watch videos and stuff from these other sports or even kiteboarding to just get some kind of input as to what I could do different on the water. But I think everyone has their own approach. What's your approach to unlocking new tricks?
Well, we've both been kiteboarding for a pretty long time, so I can imagine the approach has been changing. And before that I was a professional kiteboarder, I would be just looking at the other competitors that I was competing with and then see what they're doing and trying to get better than they are. And then I reached a certain level where I was the one setting up the pace. And now I'm in a different time again where I haven't been kiting for a really long time and I need to refresh my old tricks before I go forward. Before I learn some new tricks. And what helps me to unlock new tricks right now is just try new grabs, new combinations of hooked-in tricks that I haven't done before. Because even though you would think I've done so many tricks, there is still a lot of trick and grab combination that I haven't done. And then hopefully when I am fit and strong again and I'm going unhooked, I'll be able to move that hooked-in training into unhooked trick. And this is what I hope gonna make me unlock new tricks this summer. But before I get to that level, I still have to work on the tricks I know that I've done in the past, which is not as rewarding as learning a brand new tricks that we haven't done. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with my training right now. And what keeps you motivated to progress? Because you also have been kiting for how many years? 20 years?
Yeah, 23 years now I've been kiteboarding.
23 years. And you're learning every year, every month, I could say every day. Like, what keeps you motivated to just keep on doing it?
Yeah, I guess like there's a drive that I have that I want to learn something new and just challenge myself. I think people have different ideas for, how they motivated to progress or if they're motivated to progress. Yeah, I like to learn new tricks, but it's always, I think, difficult to just push yourself when you don't have like a particular reason or like something to learn a new trick. So I think for myself, I just like wanting to learn a new trick to, you know, get it on film, so I have that kind of memory for myself that I learnt that trick, I put that time in, and I did that trick at some point. Even if I can't like keep doing that trick over and over again, just the fact that like I put effort in to do something different, and yeah, to land a new trick that I hadn't done before, and I can see that I did that, so that kind of keeps me motivated, that I have that, you know, that image, or I have that video there as you know,
motivation.
Yeah, motivation, or just as a memory that, you know, I did, you know, I did something different. I did a new trick. So yeah, that's basically how I stay motivated to keep learning new tricks, I think.
Yeah, and you then release the part at the end of the year, right? Every
year.
Exactly. That
so,
is different every year, pretty much. Like, you don't really repeat the tricks that often.
Yeah, some of the tricks, like the filler and stuff, obviously I would repeat, but the idea with like any video part I'm making is to try and do things I haven't done before.
Yeah.
And doing those tricks for that video keeps me motivated to keep progressing.
Do you feel you get motivated when you switch to different disciplines? Because you're doing not only freestyle.
Yeah, well, if I'm obviously if I'm getting like a bit discouraged, or I'm not having fun doing something, if I'm not having fun with freestyle or rails or whatever, yeah, I would just start to focus on something else a bit more, where I still feel I can progress, or, you know, keep that stoke level up a bit more. And then obviously after a while you're forgetting the things you did before, so coming back and learning some stuff you did before and adding some new stuff again is like fun again. So I think that, yeah, being versatile as a rider is really a good way to keep motivation to progress. So
yeah,
if you can do one discipline of kiteboarding, that's good. And when you get to a point where you're feeling like you're starting to stagnate and not learning as many new things, maybe try something else, because I think like that's such a big aspect of kiteboarding, and like one of the big bonuses we have over other sports is that we can ride a lot of different boards and do a lot of different things.
Yeah. And yeah, because you could do like unhook tricks, hydrofoiling, let's say, right?
Yeah.
If you're into it and the weather is like that, right?
If you're mixing all the different disciplines, and you're practicing lots of different disciplines, then you can take things from the other disciplines and then put them together into each other. So it's sort of like, yeah, you just have more possibilities because you've opened up more skills from the other disciplines.
Yeah, and we actually had the question before this live. What do we do when the wind's not there, as that sport is wind dependent, and a lot of the time we're so excited to learn new tricks. We go to the beach and the wind is just not there. And I had this moment in my career where I really needed to learn new trick to get better at the competition, to like actually win events. And the thing I was doing was just doing other sports that are similar in approach. So wakeboarding, surfing, just staying active, because a lot of the time we don't have access to the gym. And I mean, gym training is not that exciting for everyone as well. So I feel like staying active as much as you can will really help your body get stronger and help with the progression. And so, yeah, if you're not into gym, if you're not into running, like you go skateboarding, right, when it's not windy,
yeah.
And then it translates to wake skate, which is also the discipline that you do. We have a lot of people saying they're motivated to ride with other friends, film a lot, which is awesome. We want to see those videos, because nothing better than shredding with your friends. Yeah, I just want to mention here the thing that motivates me, because I've been kiting for so many years, is that definitely Alex. He's been my mentor. He's been telling me what to do, because sometimes we're stuck in a specific trick. We really want to land like railie to blind, for example, and it's so hard, and we just keep on going, and we say, okay, we need to do it 100 times, but then we do it 100 times, and it's also not happening. And what a person from outside, like Alex, would tell me is like, all right, like maybe try something like this, like something completely you wouldn't think of in that specific moment because you're so focused on that one trick. So actually, a coaching from outside, for me, game-changing. I remember I had one season on the famous Piquet World Tour. The whole year, I haven't learned a new trick. That's like so long, 12 months. It was just events after events after events. I was on top of my game, getting podiums and stuff, but at the end of the year, I was feeling like I'm not getting better, like I wasn't improving, and this was really not exciting because it was kind of like a routine of any sport. Like, you know, you go swimming and you're just doing laps and laps and laps. And kiteboarding can also feel like this sometimes. And I feel we have friends who quit kiteboarding because their progression wasn't going up. And
you want to ride with, if you see people that have, you know, a trick selection or have a style or, you know, approach that you would like to mimic or feel like you can do yourself, it's always a good idea to try and ride with them, or at the very least try to, you know, watch their videos and study what they're doing on the water, because a lot of what people are doing isn't that hard to replicate. You know, if you're watching closely and you're taking it step by step, you can build up to a lot of the harder tricks. It's just going to take time. You obviously can't do them all at once, but to build, you know, step by step, the fundamentals to get to that more complex trick isn't as difficult as people think. You just need to be focused and to be concentrating on what those basic steps are to get to the higher level that you want to reach.
Yeah, but I also feel sometimes we have so much videos and so many people writing online, and sometimes our inspirations of learning new tricks are a bit above the level that we are currently in. Like, I want to do all the handle passes right now, tomorrow. And even though I've done those tricks, I know it's not really possible for me right now because my body is not strong enough. So it also depends, like, what time of the season we doing those tricks. So if it's at the beginning of the season, maybe we should think about refreshing the tricks from the last season before moving to more difficult. And this is what I do a lot. I like step back before I go forward. A lot of the time the conditions are horrible to learn a new trick. So it's also impossible, like depends where you live. And then just traveling for a 1 week trip where the water is flat, wind is consistent can make such a big improvement. But then when you're trying to do these tricks in the bad conditions, it's just like you maybe never learn. Because if it's choppy water and you want to land blind, it's just really difficult in all the sense.
I mean, you need to have some decent level of conditions really to progress. You can learn basic things and learn an approach in any kind of conditions, but you still want to have conditions that are conducive to landing something new or something harder than you've done before, which is, I mean, if you're doing freestyle, obviously that's going to be more consistent wind and flatter water is going to help you to learn those new tricks as well.
Yeah, but then this said, like, if you live at the spot where the water is choppy and the wind's gusty, which is where I'm from, in Poland, you still can learn tricks, but maybe not the one that are your biggest dreams. So maybe if you want to do, like, a front blind or front blind mope, maybe you could build on doing the unhooked front row at the location you're at, and there is a little wave. So then you can practice on the flip, and then you're so consistent with it, you can just keep on building in a better conditions, because it's sometimes you just go, or there's one day when it's just everything clicks and it's so easy, and sometimes it's just like such a hard work to build new tricks. All right, Well, I think we're coming to an end. I have one more question to ask you. Can you give like one master tip to our listeners today to progress their riding from the next session? So like our listeners, take that tip, go kiting, and tomorrow, new trick.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I guess there's quite a few things you could do to progress your riding from the next session. But if I was to think about what is the one thing that I tell people when we're doing coaching and when we're teaching people, I think the one thing is, yeah, Wojtek says, how about visualization? That's probably the second thing I would say after this. But the first thing I would say is that you really need to think about what your kite's doing in the air, because so many people are trying to do a new trick and they think they know what they're doing with their kite, but they're really doing something else. Like most tricks, like most unhooked tricks or even hooked in tricks, when you're coming down, you also want your kite coming down. In an unhooked trick, when you're trying to pass the bar, you basically never want your kite moving upwards in the window. You always want your kite still or slowly moving down. And I think everyone that comes to the clinic and they're trying to learn a handle pass, like a rally to blind or a back to blind or a front to blind, they always have their kite slowly going up, and it makes more tension and then it pulls out of their hand. So my biggest tip for basically learning any blind turning freestyle trick where you want to do a handle pass is make sure you have your kite coming down slowly throughout the trick. If you only do this, I think it would make a really big difference for most people, and probably it could even be the difference between landing it like the next time you try it.
Yeah, especially there are tricks like back mob, your kite has to be going down.
Yeah.
Like otherwise it's impossible. And also this is a good tip also when you're just doing bigger tricks. Like we see a lot of people like crashing because their momentum, the timing's not good enough to bring the kite as you land. So it's pretty much like both of those things. Mm-hmm. Well, for me, that one tip would be what Wojtek says, visualization. So before you go to do that new trick, make sure you know what you wanted to do and believe in it, because your mind makes amazing things. And I have seen so many people going for a trick, but they don't know what they're doing. So before you go to the water, imagine you're doing the trick. Imagine what the kite is doing. Imagine what your hands are doing, what your body is doing, what your board is doing. And honestly, if you repeat it so many times on the ground, you'll do it. Like, you'll come faster than you think. Like, I have, honestly, a lot of the time, I had a dream about the trick even at night, and then I went and did it. That means I was so deep in that imagination of it. And really, when I've been competing, our mind is just so amazing. Like, if you tell yourself, I won't do it, I'm not ready, I'm bad, like, I'm not feeling, you're probably not gonna do it, because if you have that negative emotion, you're like really, the muscles are like tight. And when you know how to do it because you rehearse it in your head so many times, you're so much more relaxed, and just believe I can do it. Body relax, more area for range of movement. I swear to God, this is like the best thing I can suggest.
You have to believe that you can do it if you want to do the trick, and you need to see yourself doing the trick. Demi in the chat asks, how big do you need to go for a roll to blind? I mean, personally, I don't think you need to go that big for a roll to blind. About as big as you could do a back roll, you could probably do a roll to blind. Obviously, if you have a little bit more time, it's going to be easier to go to blind, but going too big is also going to make it quite difficult to do a roll to blind. So
we think like you have two different approaches. Like Alex is stronger, more powerful, rides bigger kites, so he can go so much bigger than I can do. And then I always watch little kids, like juniors, doing those tricks where you imagine you need to go so high and they're going so little and still able to squeeze it. So it really depends how you're riding. I think one tip for Road to Blind from us would be actually go slower to what you think, to what it looks on the videos. On videos, it looks like people going really fast and whipping really fast. I think you can go way slower, because if you go bigger, for example, because the wind's strong, you'll need like, there's longer way to land blind. So you actually have to have that slower rotation to stick.
Well, yeah.
Roll.
If you go too high, then you're going to need to stall out the blind rotation, which I think requires more technique and a better understanding of how the trick works. So, I mean, I think you should only go high enough that you have enough time to fit in all the rotation. That's basically the answer to the question. If you have enough time to do the full back roll and go to blind, then you went high enough. Any higher is probably going to be a bit too high to begin with, and any smaller, you're just not going to land the trick. So I guess getting the rotation to begin with is, how high you need to go. High enough to make it, to make the trick. That's basically how high you need to go.
Yeah.
We had another question. Wojtek asks, do you guys recommend kite rooms? Is this efficient? So there's probably some people that don't know what kite rooms is. So maybe
the roaming.
Yeah, you should explain it to them, because I think this is a
Polish invention.
It is a Polish word in my understanding. I never heard this anywhere else. But
well, what Wojtek's asking if, like, pretty much working on a trick on at home on a bar that is attached to the ceiling, or in a kite school they have bar attached to some sort of construction. If that helps learning new tricks, well, yes, it does, because if you've never done kiteboarding tricks and you're new to the sport, you need to feel that awareness. So a lot of people who come into our clinics and want to learn simple trick as back roll, front roll, we take them to practice that on the solid bar at the kite school, and that helps from first session to understand the rotation. Also, you can set up the bar on a trampoline. In Sardinia here we have trampoline, and I do practice double swaps on it, and it really helped me to actually land double handle pass of the kickers. So yeah, that definitely helps. If you have it at home, you can practice every day and visualize the trick and then send it on the water. If you don't have it, well, you can try. It's definitely not gonna hurt you.
I mean, my opinion of the bar hanging from a tree or a post or whatever it's hanging from is that it helps somewhat. When I was a kid, I had the bar hanging from a tree and I used to do handle passes and stuff on it. But that kind of like, I think that kind of handle pass is more like a scent kind of handle pass. It's like if you're doing like a dangle pass, then it's really similar to what you would do with a bar hanging from a tree. But if you want to do more of a load and pop kind of handle pass, I don't think it helps as much. But it is going to help people visualize and feel what it's like to spin around holding onto a bar, which some people don't have any idea about. So for them, that's still a good thing to try.
Yeah.
Like what you say, I think the best thing you can try is either having the bar attached to something and jumping on a trampoline, so you can spin and you'll get used to passing the handle, how that feels in your hands,
and
how
flip.
How it feels to rotate, and yeah, maybe even flipping holding the handle, because then you can feel how it's feeling to hold on to something and do a flip. The other thing you can do is there's a technique you can use where you would get a bar, a length of rope, maybe 3 meters or so, and then tie a bottle of water or something heavy to the end of the rope, and you can spin it around behind your back, which helps strengthen your wrists and your arms in the way that you want to do for passing. I know Christoph Tack used to do that all the time, and he's probably one of the quickest and most efficient handle passes beside maybe, I don't know, Eric Anderson or Bebe. They're both like really good at passing really tight and really clean. So yeah.
Yeah, everything that helps. Like,
I mean, it's all going to help somewhat. It's obviously not going to make you do a back mob 7 if you're just passing in a tree. That's not, you're not going to do it. You're still going to need to learn it on the water, but it's a good way to feel rotations and understand just basically what you need to do. The small steps of what you need to do. So yeah, better to try than not to try.
okay, guys, I think we're coming to an end because we could be chatting about progressing kiting and like those little tips all day long. And we'll be back with this live conversation to you. And yeah, just to announce at the end, we still have 2 spots left for our kiteboarding progression clinic in Sardinia. So if you would like to join us, progress your riding with us, just leave a message, send us an email so we can give you more details. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a message in the commentary section if you like this. What would you like us to cover next time? Whether you want us to explain more precisely some tricks or maybe talk about style next time. I think that's what we would like to cover on our next live. And yeah, see you guys.
See you later. Maybe, I'll read out a few more chats.
All right.
Bahamas Kitesurf 242 says you need to smoke reefer and meditate. I don't know. Well, he's in the Bahamas, so it sounds accurate. What else have we got? Demi says thanks. What?
Yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Yeah,
we hope you're not bored.
In.
And we hope to see your new tricks this week. If it's windy where you are, please land new tricks and send us the videos. We are so excited to see everyone progress.
Tweety to blind? I don't even know. I can't do that. Who can do that? No one can do that kiteboarding. Well, no one's done it that I know of. Anyway, guys, thanks for everything. I'd like to read more chats, but... Oh, how do we get stees like Carolina, says Colleen. I don't know.
We'll talk about it in the next conversation.
You can learn that in the next Instagram live. But I have a feeling it takes time. You need to practice and, yeah, keep replicating what you're doing over and over again and, you know, adding your own flavor to a trick. That's how you're going to get your own style or your own stees, as Colleen says. Hey, Sam. Miss you too. Hope we can get back to the Kite Mansion sometime. Great spot. If anybody's going to Brazil, check out Kite Mansion. Anyway, see you guys. Peace. See you in the next one. Cheers.